The Senate will now come to order. Our first order of business is roll call, and the clerk of Senate will now take roll.
Hello, everyone. If you're here as a proxy, please raise your hand as a proxy when you hear the name of your senator. Nadia Alfarabi. Here. Crystal Alvarez.
Here.
Alana Alawi.
Here.
Fantasy Vice. Catalina Carvajal.
Here.
Holly Carvan.
Here.
Antonio Cardenas.
Here.
Justin Jones.
Here.
Alana De La Torre.
Here.
Maya De La Torre.
Here.
Max Donahue.
Here.
Andrew Demovic.
Here.
Eliza Hero.
Here.
Valerie Hines.
Here.
Yashvi Pilati.
Here.
Jesse Magana.
Here.
Mary Logan Missy.
Here.
Simon Mizrahi.
Here.
Chidi Uparu.
Here.
Rhonda Papp. Here. Anaya Henderson.
Here. It's further away.
Maya Ramirez.
Here.
Brianna Rivas.
Here.
Andrew Schneider. Angelo Tharp.
Here.
Anayeli Villegas Carrera. Vida Vasugian.
Here.
Daniela Walter. Justice Soda.
Let the record reflect that quorum is met. Our second order of business is the approval of the agenda.
I move to amend item B under new business, photos, and move that for after the ASG meeting. Second.
So there's a motion on the floor, having been seconded, to amend the agenda by removing photos and just taking photos after the adjournment of the meeting. Is there any further discussion? All right, all those in favor, please raise your placards and say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And any abstentions? Motion passes. Having taken out photos, is there a motion to approve the agenda?
I motion to approve.
There's a motion on the floor, having been seconded, to approve the agenda. Is there any further discussion? All right, all those in favor, please raise your placards and say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And any abstentions? Motion passes. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from last week.
I move to approve last week's minutes.
Second.
There's a motion on the floor, having been seconded, to approve last week's minutes. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, please raise your placards and say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And any abstentions? Motion passes. The minutes are approved. Next item on the agenda is my report. Sorry. All right, so just a quick update on mics. We are trying to get a hold of more so we can all hear each other fine, and the camera picks it up. But while we get a hold of more, just please wait before, like after you're addressed, before you start speaking, just wait till the mic reaches you. Either someone's gonna pass it to you or someone, will walk it to you, but just wait until it reaches you so we can all hear everything that you are saying. Also, I wanted to see by a show of hands who is planning to attend the Women of Impact Luncheon. Okay. Sorry, for those of you who don't know, the Women's Commons has a Women of Impact luncheon every year, or semester year, to just, raise awareness about the women on our campus and the work that they're doing and just show them recognition. A lot of your senators, as you can see, have either been nominated or are planning to attend, and so I just wanted to see that as I keep in mind what we do in Senate that week, because the luncheon takes place Thursday during Senate, so I'll keep you updated on what we think about Senate that week. So as you probably saw on my email, I'm starting to add a section, did you know, just to give you more information about certain things. If this week I focused on initiatives, and I just wanted to give you a rundown on what we have funded, what initiatives we have been funding this past semester. And so here's a breakdown. This is actually available to you all through our drive under exec files, I believe, no, exec budgets. You go to Speaker of the Senate and you'll see the fall budget tracker? Yes, sorry. And this is where you'll find this information, but as you can see, we've voted on the $1,000 to fund the Matayum dedication event. There was also an initiative to put up a bulletin board at Manchester Residence Hall. We also sponsored board and brew sandwiches at the tailgate for the basketball game. And then we also funded the Inclusion, Diversity, and Equity Committee's event with churros and some incentives, which will be Campus Cash gift cards, and also the grocery trams for the rest of fall 2019. And so as you can see, we have a little less than $7,000 still for the semester. So I just wanted to encourage you all to think of ways that you can use those funds to reach your constituents, a larger aspect of campus, and other things that you can help out with these funds. Also, we all have a individual print code. I know Jen is probably going crazy in the back. We have individual print codes, which you can use to print out and use for anything ASG related. All you have to do is reach out to our GA Carl, and this is his, I don't want to butcher his last name, but you can either go through the Slick where he is located or reach out to him through email, and he can get those print codes to you all. Additionally, we received some cards from Erin at the Women's Commons to sign in support and in solidarity with our LGBTQI+ community on campus, just keeping in mind the recent atmosphere. So if you want to take part in that, the cards are located over on that side. Yeah. Are there any questions about anything I covered? Angela?
The cards will be taken and we're turning it into an art piece. So
Yes.
All together.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. If you didn't hear that, the cards will be used at an exhibition put on by the Commons. Catalina, did you have something?
Yeah. Print code for what? Like the WEPA or for Creative Line? Or what?
So you would be able to use them at the Slick computers. I don't know, Amanda, can they use them at any other computers?
No, just in the Slick.
Yeah.
Sounds good, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions? All right, thank you. Our next item on the agenda are reports from committee chairs. We can start with Rhonda.
Hey all, it's Rhonda. Alright, so I have no updates for this week, pretty much the same as last week. I'm meeting with various individuals on campus in order to find solutions regarding the same project.
Hey guys, I don't have too many updates today. Mainly just like, and we'll talk about the Lift initiative like later, I'm sure. But just kind of our committee met the other night to talk about how we're gonna start implementing a survey to students, and we're coming up with questions like, do you prefer the train station or the airport, or you know, like how many people plan to go home? Would it be more beneficial to do Christmas break or spring break? Different things like that. So that's basically it for me.
Fantasy with the student org committee, we are just planning the student org mixer. It will be the week before Thanksgiving break. I'm just saving that date. We are like finalizing food and like what the event will look like, but letting either your student org know or you as a student leader, just like making sure to schedule that Tuesday, November 19th in the evening, and we'll have more details later.
Hello everyone. So also on the 19th, so I know that last week we made an announcement that our event during dead hours for the Inclusion, Diversity, and Equity Committee would be happening on the 12th during dead hours. But after looking at other events that are happening that day, we decided they would be postponed until the 19th. So that's set. We're having it on the 19th. And so we have a finalized flyer, and we'll share that in the Slack so that you all can start circulating it as well. And just to give you kind of a heads up of some of the questions that are going to be on this, or during dead hours, sorry. Some of the questions that are going to be on that, the survey that we're sending out. So essentially it's going to be asking students about their experience at USD in a way that's more in depth than other surveys have been sent out, right? So it'll ask some questions like, has there ever been a time where you felt excluded on campus? And then versus it just being like a yes or no question, it'll have an open box for students to add like actual instances of where they felt excluded. Because often when we send out surveys, we're doing it on a Likert scale, and so it's like 1 to 5, and it's like likely or very unlikely, that kind of deal. And it doesn't leave room for like comments at the bottom to give like exact instances of when things like that are happening. We're also asking questions about food insecurity. And so just asking students if they've experienced food insecurity on the campus, and then also asking them if they're aware of like Churros Against Hunger program, things like that, so that we can also take that data and then use it to kind of like market things a lot more as well. And then as a reminder, next Tuesday during dead hours is going to be a day of action. So it's going to be the first day that the Supreme Court takes up the DACA cases. And so the DACA Alliance, MECHA, and then also sponsored by ASG, will be having an event at, from 12 to 2 in front of the IPJ. So it would be really great if you all can show up and support our undocumented, documented students on this campus as well.
No? Okay. So Student Life Committee, as you saw, we finally got the approval for the groceries trams. So that will officially start. Last week I said November 10th, but please scratch that and put November 17th. And I have a flyer I've made. I'm going to have our committee distribute this flyer in like A-frames and around campus. So when you see, I'm also going to send it to Danny. So when you see it on the ASG social media pages, can you please, I ask, send it out to your constituents, put it on your own social media pages, just so that students can really have access to it, because not only have they been asking for it, but there's been a higher knowledge of food insecure students, and I'd like for them, if they don't have transportation, to be able to use this. But yeah, thanks.
Hello, let's hear y'all. So just a quick update from me and the athletics committee. Our event on Tuesday actually went really well. We had over, or the exact amount was 298 students scanned into the game, which is, I think it's pretty good. We're making waves out here.
It's great. That's great numbers.
Yeah.
USD.
She said so too. So yeah, now we're just getting ready for the state game, November 20th. It's a Wednesday at 8 p.m. Yeah, so.
Hello. Okay. Sorry, I had one more announcement. So I just want to let everyone know, and then as well as those who are in the audience is that we did meet on Monday and we did offer time for everyone to come to the committee meeting, and then I'm offering that up again. If any of you want to come to the ID&E committee meeting, it's Mondays at 8 in the ASG TPB cubicle. As an update, Monday we met, and we did a substantial amount of time to talk about whether or not there would be like an ad hoc committee created, or whether or not it would be like a subgroup of the ID&E committee in regards to talking about like direct action that we can take on the hate crime that happened, but more expansively, like talking about how we can stop instances like this happening on campus. And so, well, we had the conversation, and I'm not offering this up as the solution because I still want there to be opportunity for everyone to have input on this. But we did offer up that it could be a subgroup of the ID&E committee, and so within the ID&E committee, there could be a subgroup of folks who meet to have conversations about this. And with that, I want to add that I know that it can be very easy for us to want things to happen in the snap of a finger, but the reality of it is that we can't promise actions and things at the snap of a finger that aren't going to happen within that exact instance. And I will say this personally, that I would not want to take responsibility for trying to come up with actions, because I'm going to use myself for example. Like, I am a member of the LGBTQ+ community, and so the way that the hate crime has affected me is more personal than that it might anyone else in this room. And so I could say things and make suggestions, but it would come from a personal level and from an emotional level, right? And so I want to make sure that we're like taking time to think about like hard thought out actions and plans going forward, and not just making promises that we can't keep. And so again, you're welcome to the committee, but if anyone else wanted to go ahead and motion, or I don't know what the process is to make an ad hoc committee, I welcome that as well. But we did talk about the possibility of the subgroup, so I wanted to give you all that update as well.
Did you have to say
Just a quick little thing, I do want to let you all know that there has been a small committee created that's been working with Eleanor to kind of create more action. I'm more than welcome to extend the invite to 1 or 2 more students. We're trying to keep it small right now until it comes into this larger committee that will include hopefully administration, faculty, staff, and students. So we'll keep you all updated on that.
Well, this comes out. Hello. Is this group that's going to be created, like, will it be able to, like, eventually or immediately have any, like, effect, or is it just going to be a group of, like, people coming together to have conversations?
So that's kind of to the point that I was making earlier, is that I said this in the committee on Monday, that I can suggest things and I can offer a perspective and I can give suggestions to what I think needs to happen, but in the end it has to come from a group of people all being on the same page, and often we're not always on the same page about the way that we'll go forward with these things. And then to go back to the point that I was trying to make last Thursday, is that like we in this body of people can make decisions. But the point that I was trying to make when I went on a rant last Thursday slightly was that here at this level, it's us coming together as students to make these decisions. But there has to be a level of consensus, even further up than us, that has to come with a level of agreement, right? And so like we can get together in a group of people and make decisions and come up with action plans and start campaigns, but it has to come from like upper administration also being on board with those same decisions and actively responding in the same manner that we are as students, if that makes sense. And so I don't know if that answers your question, but I would love for us to be able to come together as a group of students and come up with like hard thought, like action plan to like be able to address these issues at a more systemic level. But it has to come from the willingness of people to join the group and do it. Like I can't do all the work myself. Like I know Angela has also been reaching out to me. Like it can't just come from the two of us, because unfortunately the work is often always put on folks to identify with the issues. And yeah, so that I don't know if the answers your question.
And just to give you a sense of maybe what other groups are doing, the Faculty Senate, as you probably heard from, no you did hear, from Dr. Reifer, he came here last meeting representing Faculty Senate, and they created a resolution as a group just in response to that. So I don't know if you're only seeing an ad hoc committee as the kind of like appropriate response to this, but there are other ways to either create action or show solidarity as a team. But definitely what Jesse said, it has to be kind of like a collective effort. And so I would love to hear if this is like a group thing that we want to do, or maybe we can have a discussion next meeting about how we want to go about this. But how's the group feeling?
Wait, Mike.
Sorry.
No. Okay, I like Marion's idea. I want to join the club. Is that?
Or
how? Yeah, I think the ad hoc thingy was good. The idea to make the group, right?
Mm-hmm. So I think Marion is talking specifically about, sorry. I think Marion was talking to a group of people who are working closely with Eleanor to kind of like see how they want to go about the action and how that is going to look like. And I think right now that's more close to what like they want to see on campus and how they want to address it. I think that's different though than how ASG would like to respond to it. You know, they're like separate entities. But if you want to, like if you are feeling an ad hoc committee, then
I like ad hoc committee.
Crystal?
So speaking to Jesse's point, in our IDE committee meeting, we spoke of either doing a subgroup within just our committee and having like half of us or a certain number of us take on this responsibility of doing this work. Of course, our meetings are open to everyone, so you all can still be part of those conversations, and we welcome your input. Or we can open this to the greater Senate and create the ad hoc committee for like a whole new group to join. It's kind of like the two options.
Shitty. Fancy?
I'm just curious if the IDE committee has capacity to do this. Like if that's y'all intention and you're like, yeah, we can do it, we'll just create the subcommittee. I trust y'all, but if you would like that, I don't know, like leadership more to be like to everyone and y'all need more help, then I'm willing to like open it up to Senate. I just don't want to like overstep y'all and like your responsibilities or like topics that pertain to y'all, but also if you need help, I think we're willing.
To answer that question, I think that we do have the capacity to do it. I think the intention behind creating this subgroup was that it doesn't have to just be people from the IGD committee. Like within our own committees, we can split off and do different work, and then welcome other folks into that work, right? So like if there was a subcommittee, a subgroup that was formed within the IDE committee, then it could be potentially a couple folks who are already on the IDE committee, and then other folks who in Senate who are welcome, or anyone really, who are wanting to be a part of that subgroup as well, if that makes sense. So it would be in the same framework as an ad hoc committee, but would just function under the Inclusion, Diversity, and Equity Committee.
Two questions, I guess. Would this subcommittee work with Marion's like committee or like group that they have? I wouldn't want there to be like two separate conversations about like similar issues, but also I'm wondering if like we just like wait it out and get updates from Marion and their leadership right now, since they're the ones that are already working on this work, instead of like adding a whole nother group, having different conversations about similar topics. Like, I definitely know that there's a sense of urgency, but I don't want to like dismiss the work that's already being done for people who are directly affected.
So we are meeting next week to kind of touch base. We met earlier this week. It's the group consists of 2 faculty and I believe 4 students. There's some set plans that we have in motion in terms of what we want to see as a response from faculty and our goals overall for a larger community that would consist of, as I said, multiple different aspects of the university. I can give you all an update next week during next week's Senate because that'll be after our next meeting and kind of let you all know where we are. And I can also mention to them the ad hoc committee or subcommittee of ID&E that has been discussed in Senate and see how they would like to proceed with that. I do agree, I want to kind of respect the goal and envisionment of this committee, of this new group, because I think there's a lot of stuff that is already being put into action in terms of what they want to see and what our goals for the whole objective of this is. So I can give you all an update on Thursday as to what they've said and also let them know of this incentive and want from ASG Senate to be a part of this, if that helps.
I think, though, if I may add, is that we should create this kind of like separate from Eleanor's case and just work to either kind of like repair ties between communities or work in kind of like, instead of reactive action, do preventative action. And so like you can, like that committee, even though, you know, maybe it was created due to this, to like Eleanor's specific incident, but it can continue to do the work like regardless of how Eleanor decides to proceed with like the action. But that's how I think you could think of this ad hoc committee. Anybody else? Any other thoughts? Okay. Before we move on to reports from ASG Exec Board, I did want to acknowledge that one of our senators turned 19 yesterday, and also Madeline is celebrating her birthday today. So if you wanted to, happy birthday, Wilson. Yeah. All right, you all take the mic then.
I dropped the mic.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Chi and Madeline. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Love you.
All right. So next are reports from ASG Exec Board, and we can start with Danny, please.
Hello everyone, happy Thursday. So I'm glad to hear of all these initiatives that are going on. Just please a reminder, keep me in the loop with everything that y'all are doing. Send me flyers, materials, so I can also get it on our social media page, and also like newsletters if you need help with that. I think that's all. Remember, we're going to be taking our photos today. Oh, and actually, I am meeting with the publicity team right after. We're going to meet in the courtyard of the SLB, just following the Senate. So, yeah.
I don't have anything to tell you guys other than Finance Committee is meeting on Tuesday, and we'll have a decision to bring to you guys for the college leadership program by next week.
Hello everyone. So today I will be doing Marion's updates as well. She is not feeling well at the moment. So for her updates, she would like to inform you that the judicial branch applications have gone live. I have already received a few emails from a few of you on the room, and note that I am trying to gather the proper information to respond to you, so I have seen them. The second is our forum. Please help spread the word. We have seen a few flyers being reposted on Instagram, and just a friendly reminder that what you post on Instagram is really, really crucial, and just when you leave the meetings does not mean that you stop representing ASG. We do welcome different perspectives on different matters that we discuss, so invite people, and we don't want to discourage them to not come if it doesn't align with our personal beliefs. And for my updates, I would just like to remind all of you that our Thanksgiving gathering is next Friday the 15th from 6:30 to 8:30. I would really, really like it if all of you would be present. It's going to be a great night. I understand there are about 13 of you that have not RSVP'd yet. There's going to be great food, great games, good company. Come by. I mean, it's free dinner, so yeah.
Oh, sorry.
At the What to Fix forum, what will that like visually look like, or like who will be mainly speaking? Like, is it chairs that are up there like giving, like will it look like this plus people? I don't know. Does that make sense? Just like what it will look like, so I'm like what to expect.
So as maybe you have seen, it'll take place down in Aromas. Visually, I think we wanted to look more like a conversation space and less like someone in the platform on the front and then people like in front of us, you know? So we decided to just kind of have microphones if they are available. And then we just kind of like start out the event by introducing ourselves, and if there are other representatives there, like committee chairs or anybody from the committees, to just present themselves. I think we are also trying to just give a quick breakdown of ASG and kind of like what areas kind of like we fund, or just like more information about like things that we currently do on campus. And then from there, just kind of setting community guidelines, because I think we do want it to be more of a conversation and less of like them talking at us or us talking to them. So just, yeah, setting those guidelines so it's a healthy conversation that we have. And from there, just literally opening the space. And then regarding whether like the comment said is towards, I don't know, like the college readership program, or how ASG is responding to the hate crime, then like representatives, so like George would take care of like finance related questions. Jesse or somebody from your committee would probably want to respond to anything related to like initiatives towards like inclusion, diversity, and equity. So that's kind of like what we've been envisioning. Obviously, some things just don't go as planned, so we are meeting tonight as our exec meeting and kind of going through like, well, what if this happens, or like, how are we gonna be prepared to handle like anything that comes at us? Because it's literally just like basically an open mic, yell at ASG all you want, or like be productive. Yeah, so we don't know. Yeah. Anybody else have any other questions about the forum? Justin?
I can just enunciate. It's okay. So you said it's kind of gonna be like an open mic. So would it sort of serve like a panel where those of us in ASU would be sort of somewhere, and then the audience would be somewhere else, and it'd just be like question, we'll answer, or whoever's appropriate from the appropriate committee would answer? Is that what it's kind of looking like?
So we wanted to go less of the panel look, and so I think we're just gonna be literally like in the middle of the crowd, and whoever feels called to answer as an ASG representative can just take it on. Of course, exec, because we did put it on, if nobody else is answering or addressing certain things, and like we will definitely jump in and make sure that people's comments are being addressed.
Thank you.
Did any of you want to add anything? Okay. Any other questions?
is the public welcome or allowed to be at the finance committee meeting, especially?
So, finance committee meeting is a closed meeting.
Hey.
Finance committee is a closed meeting, but Luke last time asked if he can wait outside and talk to some of us. So if you guys want to do that, you're more than welcome to do that. Our meeting is at 8:30 on Tuesday. It's in UC 104. It'll last about an hour or so. I don't want to like give you a definitive time, but it does last about an hour or so, this one. So if you want to wait around, or if anybody wants to wait around and see what we actually decided, like feel free. I'll stay and answer all the questions you guys have. I don't require anybody else stays and answer questions, but I will answer every single question that you all have.
And that was 8 p.m.
8:30.
8:30 p.m. Any other questions?
So this isn't a question, but on the 19th during dead hours, we're having an event, like our academics committee is having an event, so that's a little bit of a concern because obviously you're having your event that same time, so I'm not sure whether we should move it or, because what our event is that you get to just meet all of us, like the whole point is that you get to see and like meet your academic committee members, so it wouldn't be very time consuming, like someone could just stop by and talk to us for a little bit and then go to your event. So I don't know, maybe.
Or you could connect it?
Yeah. We could do that too. But we could just talk after.
Thanks.
Anybody else? All right. Okay, if there are no more questions, we can move on to new business. Line item A, approval of new and re-registering student orgs. Justin?
So we just have more. There it is. Okay, so again, here are more organizations that have existed in the past, but since they sort of are reaching out to us past the deadline that we have, we just have to go through the process of reapproving them. EOSC, or Environmental and Oceanic Sciences Club, that was originally Marine Science Club, but since the major was changed to Environmental and Ocean Sciences, then the club is following in suit. So if any of you guys have gone on any of those marine science trips, whether it's like whale watching or snorkeling, this is the same exact club. They just are undergoing transition of leadership and a name change. And then Mathagami Club, that was an educational club that was a part of Shiley and now the Belknap Engineering Center. They're focusing on, of course, origami and math and having tutoring and after school sessions and trying to have STEM outreach to younger children, so elementary and middle school age. So a lot of the interests are STEM line, but also tutoring and education based as well. So any motions on the floor or discussion?
I move to approve the 2 re-registering student orgs.
Second.
There's a motion on the floor having been seconded to approve these 2 organizations. Is there any further discussion? All right. All those in favor, please raise your placards and say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And any abstentions? Motion passes. The clubs are reapproved. Thank you.
Thank you guys.
All right. Our next item on the agenda is final business and hearing of the public. At this time, any senator may take from the table any motion previously laid in the meeting the week before or present urgent business. Any member of the public may voice any concerns to the assembly on non-agenda items. Jen?
Hi everyone, hope everyone's doing well. I know what Carolina said earlier, and I just wanted to reiterate it. There are people in the space that have a difficult time hearing, myself included. So I know sometimes it's hard to, and we'll figure out the mic system, but I know personally I would really appreciate it if you all really honor that, and we'll work out a better system to move the mics, but it really does help, and I would really appreciate that. So I know I have a loud voice too, so I don't necessarily need the mic, but I think it's just helpful for everyone to be on the same page. So thank you all for that. I really appreciate your consideration as we're figuring out the mic system. But it's good to see you all. And if any of you ever would like to check in, get to know me, or speak one-on-one, happy to do that as well. Good to see you all.
Mine? I forgot to say this last week when Mary Logan and I met with Chief Miyashiro, but he also wanted us to voice to y'all that, to every student, that if you're having trouble with the tram system on campus, to reach out to them. If it's like really long wait times, or like something is wrong, they need to know, and like they really appreciate it if you like made note of what day and time that this like mix up or something happened, because it helps them like do better with telling the tram drivers like, okay, like you need to do this, or like just fixing the system in general. And also we let him know that sometimes the app is janky, so if you want to also, if you have concerns with that, let him know. In the back.
Hi, I'm Catherine, the night librarian in Copley Library. We are already starting to think about and plan our 24/7 period for finals. Although we're under renovation, we're still going to have the reading room open 24/7 per usual. You guys, since 2012, have supported us with snacks for the 24/7 period, and I didn't know the best way to go about asking if you wanted to do that again this year. You've given up to $1,000 in the past. I don't think we'll need that much this year because the space is much smaller, and I don't think we'll have as many students. That being said, students will eat whatever we put out. So if you want to talk about that at the next meeting, or how I should go about getting on the agenda for that. And also, if you have any questions about the college readership, you should reach out to my boss. His name is Christopher Markham, and he will also be here next week to give a little presentation about that.
Thanks. And so I think the academics committee can either make a request for those funds, because that's just, I think, how it's been done previously. Fantasy, did you still have? Yes.
Sorry, this could have went earlier in the process, but I would just like to reiterate what Jen said about using the microphone. It's not only is it like, would I appreciate it, it's like, I personally think it should be mandatory because it is an accessibility issue. It's not just like, oh, I need to hear you better. It's like literally people are unable to hear or like have hearing impairments, whatever it is. And so it's just accessible to like be louder and to use the microphone. So I know it can be like some people have lack of patience to wait for it, but I just know like, I don't know if it's law to like practice accessibility, but it definitely is good practice to practice it. So I appreciate y'all for doing that, and hopefully we can get past that rough transition.
Hello everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Alicia. I'm president of the Bull Pit this year, and I just wanted to come in here, I'm usually in here, but I wanted to come in today and talk to you guys about what we have planned. As Drew mentioned, we are already starting to get ready for the state game, which is going to be really, really huge. It's going to be super exciting for us, but I did want to reach out and invite you guys to be a little bit more involved with athletics on campus. This year, we do have the athletic committee, which is a transition for just simply having the athletic chair, which is ASG, TPB, Bullpit, and also Student Voices. So extending that hand out to you guys, being at the games is super important, even if you're not working at it. I understand everybody has busy lives, but just showing support really, really helps us out for events. We had 298 students, which is huge. It's the first home game, and it wasn't like a big opponent in terms of who we typically play. So I just wanted to say that and share my 2 cents. Thank you.
When is it? The state game?
Oh, the state game is November 20th. We're still in the works of like figuring logistics out, but I can definitely extend that information out next week once we finalize a little bit more.
Justin?
So this is just an update as to like what's going on with the School of Engineering. Danielle and I are at the center, so we've been having our office hours and meeting with constituents, and a lot of them are just requesting certain things. So Danielle and I, we're gonna put in a discretionary fund request to the executive board just for, you know, different things that they wish to see, like power strips, markers, erasers, Keurig cups, like easy stuff like that. And I guess this is just sort of like me like offering up to all academic centers, like a lot of the constituents, they have a lot of things that they wish to see also in study spaces. So just like a heads up on that, just to keep everyone in the loop. Another thing was the ASML ideation space in engineering. It's kind of bland and everything, so one person said, hey, we should totally get art. And so I kind of touched base with this with Daniela, so we're gonna have like a photo art contest with the whole School of Engineering where people could sort of submit like their photography projects or whatever pieces they've made. It's kind of like one of those left brain, right brain type things going on, if you're picking up what I'm putting down. So I guess that's just an update as to what's going on.
So just, I would like to encourage you, if I think that's a great idea, especially like the getting the markers and power strips, I would encourage you to maybe think about having that set up with, in conjunction with academic committee, so academic senators in conjunction with academic committee, to use the Senate initiative funds instead of discretionary, because I think that could be a really great initiative that could continue on in years to come.
So there was a question last week about the budget not being public. Why isn't the public or the budget public to the students to see?
Waiting for a mic.
Okay, yeah.
I believe, like I told you the group amount, but what we do not like give out to the student body is how much we allocate to individual centers, as well as like we also don't give out how much we allocate to like student orgs from budget committee and all that. It's really just like we'll give out a gross amount, but we don't give out details to things, because like here I don't tell you how much like everybody here gets paid for like being a part of ASG. It's just like a confidential thing that people should have to themselves. So like these centers have funding from us, but they also have funding from the school. So if you wanted information as to how much these centers have, I would direct you to the centers themselves, given ASG operates at the 1.2 million that I told you. With
and this is for everyone, senators and anyone who wants to comment just on budget and students paying their own money into a budget. Does this body think that students who pay into the budget should deserve to be able to see where their money is being put?
Yes.
we've reached our allotted time for this discussion. So if you'd like to give your answer to him, make a motion to extend the time. Or not.
I motion to end the adjourned meeting.
So you can't, wait. Are there any motions to extend?
I motion to extend the time by 5 minutes.
Second.
There's a motion on the floor having been seconded to extend the final business and hearing of the public another 5 minutes. Is there any further discussion? It wasn't seconded.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please raise your placards and say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And any abstentions? Motion passes. Rhonda?
Although I think the budget is important, although I think the budget is important, I believe that most students wouldn't understand how to read everything, and I think about this in the way that like I'm trying to get the budgets from like faculty and like departments on campus, and that's something that's not public as well. So it's something that like students have voted us into this position to allocate these funds correctly and to the best like way that we think is possible. And so that's why I think that the decision to not have the budget publicized is appropriate in this case, especially since we're trying our best to be very like asking people like, what do you think is best for this school, and what do you think, I don't know, I think that like we're all trying our best to do our best in our positions to figure out the way to use the funding that we have. And so, yeah, that's my 2 cents. Wow.
I don't know how this really works, but like, would it be possible instead of showing like the budget for all of these like different committees and stuff, but maybe like in the like the way we get our billing, like maybe it can expand and be like, this is what you're paying for, because I don't really know what I'm paying for. I just know I'm paying like a certain amount. So I don't like that versus disclosing like the total budgets for each of these centers, just showing students what their money's going toward. Would that be better?
I think that is why, part of why at the forum we want to go over the things that we do budget, or fund, sorry. But it has also been a discussion in exec to create some sort of like digital pamphlet or digital kind of like advertisement that does list like the things that we do pay for, because I think it's a matter of just students not knowing where their money is going to, but like not knowing like how funding works on campus as well, and what centers are funded by who. Luke?
Thank you. We look back with the archivist, and ASG used to make their budgets public. I think it was 2007, 2008, and for some years before and after that. So that's kind of also within the question of like why not, and then also the question is also with the light of like student petitions kind of mounting concerning budgetary items that have amassed like signatories more than people even vote for like ASG. There's just discussion about what's on the budget and students maybe possibly deserving to know, and that being a sort of precedent with other governments. I'm not sure if that clarifies the question anymore, but that's why like I brought it up.
Thank you.
Hi there. Y'all are probably sick of hearing from me now. I just want to stress, like, my intent is not to vilify you guys. I know you have a super tough job, and like I said, I'm in admiration of what you guys do on campus. My main reason for calling for this budget is we are the only peer institution here in San Diego that their associate students doesn't release their budget. Back home at the University of Navarino, their associate students releases their budget. And as kind of mandated by state law, the university does have their kind of condensed budget that they do release. So even if this body released something like that, I think that would be a step of good faith in communicating that. Thank you.
Sorry, could I know more about like what specifically is your like yearning to see the budget? Like, do you think that maybe we haven't been using it appropriately, or like what is the reason you think behind you like calling to see the budget?
Yeah, that's an interesting way of wording that question, but I would think mainly it's, we as students pay into that budget. I think even at a federal level, we pay taxes and you kind of get an idea of what the Senate, what local governing bodies are paying for. I don't think it's a matter of distrust, I just think it's a matter of, hey, like this is something that we're paying into as students. I think when one of you even said like, hey, I'm not exactly quite sure what the breakdown is either, where that activity goes. But I think that just transparency and making those resources available is not a bad thing.
We've reached our allotted time for this discussion once more. Please make a motion if you feel it's necessary.
Rhonda?
I vote to extend the time by 5 minutes.
Second.
There's a motion on the floor that hasn't been seconded to extend the time 5 minutes. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, please raise your placards and say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And any abstentions? Motion passes. Jesse?
Tyler, is it?
Yeah.
I guess my question would be what, like, if I could give an example of what that would look like. I know that when folks, I think in my office, for example, I work for the Change Maker Hub, and we release like an annual budget every year, and it's like a pie chart. And in that pie chart, it's like $1,000. This is just like a dramatization. Like $1,000 goes to like office supplies, $15,000 goes to events. Is that kind of what you're looking for? Would that be something that's helpful for you to see, like a pie chart and not exactly what is being spent, but within the budget, how it is being allocated in some sort of pie chart? And I'm not just acting like you personally. Would that kind of help the process as well?
I think it'd be a great start. I think it is a little disingenuous to say that students can't understand budgets necessarily. A lot of us are going to go into the working world and we'll deal with budgets firsthand. But I think, anything you can do to release more hard facts and figures isn't a bad thing.
George?
Just so you include, so that, like, we can follow up with you guys next week. We'll address this in our finance committee meeting, see how, see what we come up with. Obviously, like, a business decision, it'll be pros and cons of giving everybody information, like how it would be presented and things like that. And then if we do give it to them, given it was presented to students almost over 12 years ago, if that's something that we value, then we'll decide on it, but it'll be decided in the committee.
Simon?
Thank you. Well, I agree with Rhonda that I think individuals in this government are doing an excellent job. I can speak personally. My president Marion has been accessible. Everyone here is doing a really good job. I do think that students have a right to see what's in the budget, and you're not tiring us either. You're always looking to be here. We want you to be here. That's the point of these meetings, and I agree with you that to assume that students aren't capable of doing the budget it's not right. There's students that are far actually more capable of analyzing budgets than some of the members in this government. So, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Rhonda?
I think I need to clarify what I meant by understand.
what I meant by understand is that it's kind of scary when you see that ASG is spending, let's say, previous example from last meeting, $3,000 on food for our meetings. And some students may see that and say, why are they spending $3,000 on food when they could be spending $3,000 on something else? And so, yes, while I agree, and the pie chart idea sounds like an amazing idea where you can kind of see, okay, well, this is how much we're spending on events, and this is how much we allocate to different departments and places on campus. And that would be very interesting. Like if you think if you see the balance sheets, I think that would be something that students would be concerned about. But of course, I mean, that would be a conversation that finance committee would have in the future about like what students can see and what students shouldn't see.
And then I remember reading the bylaws, but I just want to clarify. Finance committee can be publicly voted upon.
Yes.
Okay.
Justin?
I just wanted to say that during the last Senate meeting of the last school year in which they voted on the budget of the new school year, I was sitting in as a member of the public, and when an ex officio member, I think it was Ryer Dendel, when he brought up the college leadership program and the funding resources for it, they brought up sort of a graphic of the budget. And I know myself as a member of the public, I've never seen anything like that, and just having that information accessible where I could sort of see everything, like what's being spent on, what can we even spend our budget on, I think that's much more helpful than not having any information at all. So as to what degree or how much detail to actually go into, I'm not sure, just because I believe discretion should be made, but I do agree that something should be present to the public rather than nothing.
Thank you. We've reached our allotted time for this discussion again. Please feel free to make a motion or not.
Second.
There's a motion on the floor, haven't been seconded, to adjourn the meeting. Is there any further discussion?
Does anyone have any questions out there? I know I saw like new faces, some people weren't able to speak. I just wanted to make sure. You do have a question? I'm sorry, I don't know if you can answer it now. I'm just asking if you do, so then I know if I should like be like, we need more time or not. I just want to give you all time.
Okay,
So,
yeah,
yes.
I just wanted to make like a
Sorry.
short statement. It'll be like 30 seconds if that's okay.
Just for technicalities, you're just gonna have to wait for this motion to either pass or fail. It's gonna be according to how the senators vote. Sorry.
Sure.
All right. Is there any further discussion about the adjournment of the meeting?
Can we make a motion to adjourn after the statement?
I think your vote is just gonna have to reflect on how you feel about having extra time. All right. All those in favor to adjourn the meeting, please raise your placards and say aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
And any abstentions? Motion fails.
I move to extend the meeting by like 2 minutes.
Second. All right. There's a motion on the floor, haven't been seconded, to extend the time an extra 2 minutes. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, please raise your placards and say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And any abstentions? Motion passes.
Thank you so much, guys. I'm sorry I'm late. I was at an accounting society meeting. But I just wanted to say the college leadership program, I know we're trying to look for academic implications into it, but I'd like to let us think about our university's mission statement about being change makers. And I think that being more aware of the world's problems, not just in the United States, it allows us to be change makers. And I think that this program, it keeps us educated and allows us to fulfill USD's mission statement. And I think it's very important, helps us with our employers too. Like when we're recruiting, we can have these conversations based off what we read in the journal
And I think that that's integral part of the college experience, to be well informed so that we could have high-level conversations with people that we could potentially work for. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you. If there's a motion on the floor having been seconded to adjourn the meeting, is there any further discussion? All those in favor, please raise your placards and say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And any abstentions? Motion passes. This meeting is adjourned.
Remember, Kenny's here to take our photos. Please be prepared.
There's still some pizzas left over.
Yeah, it's great.